So this week I'm asking you to read three pieces from the Transcendentalists. The first one is Ralph Waldo Emerson's The American Scholar. And that is actually about 20 pages double spaced. So it will take you probably anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Margaret Fuller's Osoli's A Woman in the 19th Century and Kindred Papers relating to the sphere, conditions, and duties of. I'm only asking you to read an excerpt of that, which is titled The Education of Men and Women's as Souls. And then lastly, Henry David Thoreau's Walden or A Life in the Woods. And all I'm asking you is to read is a short excerpt titled Solitude. I did want to give you some additional reading if any of you are interested in this particular movement. John Matson is an author that I met. He's actually in New York at the City University. He wrote a book called Eden's Outcasts, which is really fascinating, which is about Louisa May Alcott and her father, Bronson Alcott, who is, of course, one of the Transcendentalists. Margaret Fuller is the other book that he wrote, and it is a very thorough, well-written book about the life of Margaret Fuller, who was definitely part of the Transcendentalist circle, but is often ignored. In addition to that, the Concord Quartet talks explicitly about both the relationship and the animosities that existed between Alcott, Emerson, Hawthorne, and Thoreau, but obviously the influence that they had on American philosophical thought as well as literature. And then lastly, The Transcendentalists in Their World is a new work by Robert A. Gross, who is a preeminent scholar in the Transcendentalist movement. Lastly, one of the things that I had not talked about is Mary Moody Emerson. Mary Moody Emerson has emerged as being both the inspiration and the precursor to many of the ideas that Ralph Waldo Emerson had. Mary Moody Emerson was his aunt. She would write her thoughts in what she called almanacs, and she would actually share them quite extensively with Ralph Waldo Emerson. There are a couple of different scholars who have actually pointed to the fact that there are pieces in Emerson's work which come directly from her almanacs. So if you're curious, if you want to see what else was happening during this period in terms of Transcendentalism, Mary Moody Emerson certainly lends an interesting set of ideas from which to begin thinking about what Transcendentalists did and accomplished. We're going to be talking more about the Transcendentalists next week as we talk about how their literature as well as ideas influenced the United States, as well as incorporated many of the things that were happening at the time. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the readings for this week, and I look forward to your posts.